Hey, how's it going everyone? It's Nolan here, and welcome back to another Steam 2 video. Today we're going to be talking about power weapons. Iron Banner brought with it a new rocket launcher and a new grenade launcher, so we're going to be taking a look at them today. I'm going to see if these weapons are good or not, and if it's worth to chase a god rule for these weapons. And if they're actually better than some of the other weapons that we currently have. Alright, so we'll start by talking about the better of the two, which is the rocket launcher. This rocket launcher is really good. It might be the best legendary rocket launcher now in the game. And if you guys have been looking for a replacement to your Sins of the Past, well, look no further than this one, the Roar of the Bear. This rocket launcher is a high impact frame rocket launcher, meaning it has a huge blast radius at 95, but a very slow velocity at 43. The base stats on this rocket launcher are actually quite similar to the Sins of the Past, although this one has the advantage of having random road perks, so it can improve those stats even more than the Sins of the Past ever could. Alright, so now let's talk about the perks that you want on this rocket launcher to make it the best version of the rocket launcher it can possibly be. For the first perk, we have two different options that are pretty good for this. We have hard launch and quick launch. Hard launch will increase your velocity by 15, but it's also going to take down your blast radius by 5 to 90. Which 90 is still a pretty good blast radius, so that's not too bad. The thing that we're trying to do here is that we're just trying to increase our velocity. The low velocity on this rocket launcher is one of the downsides, so we're trying to use to increase it. So extra 15 is pretty good. If you get quick launch instead, you're also increasing your velocity. It's not as much, you're only adding 10 instead of 15. But you're also gaining plus 15 handling, and you're not losing the 5 blast radius that you lose with hard launch. So if you have either of these perks, they're both pretty good, so you just pick one of them. For your second perk, we're going to be looking for high velocity rounds. We're gonna get more reload speed, which is also kind of a downside with these rockets, and more velocity, 10 for each, 10 reload speed, 10 velocity. High velocity rounds overall are just a good perk. After that, for the third perk, we're looking for the tracking module, which will give our weapon tracking. Pretty self-explanatory, it's just tracking, it's pretty good. And the final perk that we're looking for is cluster bombs, the best perk that you can possibly get on a rocket launcher, since it increases its damage by quite a lot. So cluster bombs is definitely something you gotta look for on pretty much any rocket. So this is the road that you want: quick launch, high velocity rounds, tracking, and cluster bombs. With that, you will have the best legendary rocket launcher in the game. And I'm still trying to look for it. I got in a lot of these perks, but I don't have them on the same rocket launcher. I got in like 3 of them, but I'm missing cluster bombs, or half cluster bombs, and then none of the other perks. So RNG is not being so kind with me this Iron Banner, but you definitely want to look for a nice Roar over the Bear if you like using rocket launchers like I do. This is definitely going to be your go-to and your best chance at getting just a fantastic rocket. Alright, so now let's talk about the grenade launcher, the Swarm of the Raven. And originally I had really high hopes for this one. I saw that I could roll proximity mines or proximity grenades, and I got really excited. I thought about the play of the game with proximity grenades, and even the first drop that I got from the Iron Banner was a Swarm of the Raven, some proximity mines, some threat detector, and then some rampage. So it was basically the roll on the play of the game with rampage shadow on top of it, so it seemed pretty good. Until I actually started looking at the stats of the weapon. This is the grenade launcher with the smallest blast radius in the entire game, at 15. So for that reason, I'm gonna recommend that you don't run this weapon in the Crucible. You definitely need the blast radius for the Crucible. So I recommend that you skip this one if you're looking for a nice Crucible grenade launcher. Now for PvE, where having a blast radius doesn't really affect it as much, it will still be a downside of the weapon, but it just doesn't make it or break it like it does for the Crucible. This weapon is a lot better. Like I said, you can roll rampage on it, which is pretty nice on the grenade launchers. Especially when you're trying to clear a lot of ads. In 1 or 2 shots, you can pretty much get ×3 rampage, and then you start destroying everything. Some of the other notable perks that you can get on the weapon are auto-loading holster, which is a perk that I really like, especially on these lower reload speed weapons like this grenade launcher. The grenade launcher reload speed is just 29, so you're gonna take quite a long time to reload it. So having auto-loading holster is pretty nice. You just pull it out, clean a bunch of ads, switch back to your primary weapon, and when you need it again, it's going to be reloaded for you. Pretty great. Alright, so now let's move on and talk about the perks that you want to get on this weapon. For the first perk, you're looking for volatile launch, which will increase your blast radius, but it will decrease your handling speed and your projectile speed. You can increase your blast radius by 15, basically just doubling your blast radius, but you are going to lose 5 handling speed and 5 velocity. but I think it's definitely worth it since you basically use double your blast radius. For your second perk, you're going to be looking for spike grenades, which will let the grenades fire from the weapon do increased damage on direct hits, and it also increases your stability. But we're interested in the spike grenades just because of the extra damage that we get on direct hits. That's pretty good. For your third perk, I recommend auto-loading holster. It works great with this weapon, especially since this weapon doesn't really have that great of a reload speed. Auto-loading holster, I think, works fantastic with it. And for the final perk, we're going to be looking for Rampage. Extra damage. It's very easy to get some Rampage stacks. Rampage is just fantastic for clean outs and just doing a lot of damage. So yeah, that's the Swarm of the Raven. Pretty okay launcher for PvE, but nothing that really stands out that much. So I wouldn't really stress too much about getting a great roll with the Swarm of the Raven. If you get a good roll, you know, maybe give it a try, maybe you like it. But you're definitely not missing out by not having a good roll on the Swarm of the Raven. Anyways, with that, we're gonna end today's video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, dislike if you didn't, subscribe to the channel in case you guys haven't already. Tell me down in the comments below, what are the rolls that you have gotten on these weapons? Once again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care everyone, have a good day.